the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with us both now and forevermore. Amen. Goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much. You may please have your seats. May I welcome us to the 149th Inaugural Lecture of the University of Calabar, which has as its topic, Institutionalizing the 4 Ps, Policy Pathway for Strengthening Marketing Practice in Nigeria. As you all know, inaugural lecture is a forum where professors pay their debt and share their researches in their areas of specialty. But before we go further, may I recognize members of the high table. First to be recognized is the chairman and the Vice-Chancellor of this inaugural lecture. She is no other person than teacher, Professor Florence Obi. Can we put our hands together for her? And may I also recognize here present the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Professor Tony Inyang. Please put your hands together for him. And also to be recognized is the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research, Linkages and Collaborations, Professor Peter Okafor. Put your hands together for him. And we have in our midst the registrar of the institution, Dr. Mrs. Chukwurah. Please put your hands together for her. May I also recognize the university librarian, Professor Anibiet Ntui. Please put your hands for her. Also here present is the representative of the chairman, Committee of Deans. She is Professor Ikaitenang. He is the chairman, chairman, Committee of Deans, our new chairman. And please may I recognize Professor Inang Uda. You're welcome, sir. And also to be recognized is the Provost College of Medical Sciences, Professor Ngum. Please put your hands together for him. You're welcome, sir. Seated close to him, you have the Provost School of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Iyung Ubanga Iyung. Please put your hands together. And you also have here present the Provost College of Education, Professor German Ifa Anabubu. Please put your hands together for him. And may I introduce to us the person to unravel the shadow behind the inaugural lecturer, the citation reader. He is a professor of educational management, University of Calabar, Professor John Ondie. Please put your hands together for him. And may I specially introduce you, a professor of business and marketing education, Department of Business Education, Faculty of Vocational and Entrepreneurial Education, University of Calabar, who is also the director of DOBOC, Professor Chris Chizo Chukwurah. He will be properly introduced in the course of the lecture. May I introduce and recognize a present Dean Faculty of Vocational and Entrepreneurial Education, Professor Love Aso. Please put your hands together for her. Deans of other faculties here present, directors of institute, heads of departments and units, please, you're all recognized. Erudite professors here present, the chairman, ceremonial committee, University of Calabar, Emeritus Professor Chris Mwamo, please, you're recognized. Emeritus Professor Meosimi, if he's here, please you're recognized. May I also recognize all past inaugural lecturers, invited guests, members of the university community, Malabaita Malabresis. Malabaita Malabresis. Thank you so much. At this point, may I recognize the immediate family of the inaugural lecturer. First to be recognized is his wife, his better half, his darling, his sugar in his tea. She is Lady Dr. Margaret Chukwurah, a senior lecturer at the Department of Curriculum and Teaching, University of Calabar. Ma, can you stand for recognition? Please put your hands together for her. You're welcome, Ma. I may also recognize the children here present. Barrister Mrs. Sandra Voda Izuki, JP. You're welcome. Wave to the crowd. Barrister Henry Chris Chukwurah, Miss Doris Chris Chukwurah, and Mr. Xavier Chris Chukwurah. You're all welcome. His cousins are also here present. Mr. Timothy Ayo Chukwurah and Anthony Wabili Chukwurah, Mr. Matthew Ono. Please, you're all recognized. The grandchildren are not left out. The grandchildren are here. Master Neto is okay, and Master Pandeval is okay. Please, you're all recognized. The clergy is quite a long list. His Grace Archbishop Joseph Ekuwem, Reverend Dr. Francis Ofiong, Reverend Father Emmanuel Duke, Reverend Father Fabian Epo, Reverend Father Bobita, Reverend Father Imo. Please put your hands together. His in-laws, quite a long list. Former classmates. His in-laws, Chief Harry is okay. The list is quite vast. Former classmate, Professor Effiong Asuko, you, and the organizations that are here present. May I recognize Enugu People's General Assembly and Women Wing here present. Please put your hands together for them. The Suka Family Union, if you're here, present. The Gala Cultural Development Association, Calabar, President and members of the Kenga University of Calabar, they are here. Please, you're recognized. Ibaji Development Association, Calabar, and Women Wings. Unical and UCTH Igbo Women Association, Calabar. Please, you're recognized. University of Nigeria Alumni Association, Calabar. Nigeria Academy of Education, Calabar. Special Marshals, I've seen them. Can we put our hands together for them? Association of Suka Professors, Brothers and Sisters of the Knights of St. Molumba, Nigeria. Please put your hands together for them. At this point, may I humbly hand over the microphone to the registrar to please continue with the further proceedings of this inaugural lecture. Please put your hands together for her.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now call on the chairman of this occasion and Vice-Chancellor to give her opening remark, Professor Florence Banku Obi.
Principal officers of the university, the provost, Medical College, Postgraduate College, and my college, the College of Education. The 9th Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calabar, deans and directors, the inaugural lecturer and his darling friend, who is going to introduce him to us, very distinguished academics, very, very distinguished guests who have come from near and far to unite with us here today and to honor our oath, Chris Chukwurah, our dear students, the family of the inaugural lecturer. We have been told actually why we are here today and why inaugural lecture is so important in the life of every university. University of Calabar not being an exception. We are gathered here today to listen to Professor Chris Chukwurah take us through what made him to be pronounced a professor. We are going to know why he was pronounced a professor, the contributions he has made to humanity, the society, the academic, his research contributions, even his teaching career. They all accumulate to what made him a professor. We are all ears as he's going to tell us about institutionalizing the 4 P's, whatever the 4 P's means, we don't know. He's going to tell us about the 4 P's. Policy pathway for strengthening market practice in Nigeria. Some of us are businessmen and women. Maybe market practice will be how we buy and sell. Maybe at the end of this lecture, some of us will go and begin to buy and sell and know about the market practices. No guesswork. The man himself is going to take us through that, and I urge all of us to relax, to give him all the encouragement as he presents and take us through his lecture as the 149th Inaugural Lecturer of our great university.
The chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite the citation reader, Professor John Undie, to read the citation of the 149th Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Chris Chukwurah.
The Vice-Chancellor of our great university, Human Engineer Professor Florence Banku Obi, the Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Academic, Administration, Research and Linkages, Professor Tony Eyang, Professor Eno Inta, and Professor Peter Okafor, respectively. The Registrar of our university, Dr. Mrs. Chukwurah, the Chairman Committee of Deans, Professor Enanguda. All other protocols as earlier established are respectfully observed. I consider it an honor and a rare privilege to be singled out, in spite of my biogeographic limitations, to introduce to this distinguished assembly my longtime friend of over 30 decades or 3 decades, whom I take as an uncle, father in African parlance, and whom I later became his colleague and his worthy brother. The history of the world is largely punctuated with the biographies of great men and women, as well as their exploit while on earth. Today, our university is beaming its searchlight on one of such great men from our university, a subsector of the growth parameters of the Nigerian economy. In Ugurugu, a quiet border town, a community in Uzo One in local government area of Enugu State that shares land boundary with Igalamela in Kogi State, saw the birth of a boy child into a polygamous family. He was the last and only surviving child of his parents, late Eze and Lolo Iyedegu Chukwurah, who, with the exception of the external realities, knew little or nothing that the young boy child's name will one day echo in university classrooms, auditoriums, lecture theaters, national and international conferences, the church, university administration, and politics. That boy, may I therefore crave your indulgence to request that Professor Chukwurah please do rise. That boy is today standing before us as Professor Christopher Chizo Chukwurah. C raised to power 3, the first professor of business and marketing education in the College of Education, in our College of Education in our dear university. And the 149th Inaugural Lecturer of the Self-Confidence University of Calabar, who in a moment will be explosive on the pole mix of the marketing mix, Christian institutionalizing the 4 Ps, policy pathways for strengthening marketing practice in Nigeria. Professor Chukwurah demonstrated early resilience, determination, and capacity for independent analytical studies as he progressed with the speed of light from primary school straight to the university without attending secondary school education. A feat that satirists parables would have been considered an attempt to do the impossibility. This swift advancement was never a challenge along his career path, either as he further progressed seamless along the academic ladder to the commanding height of the academia. His story in this direction remained a valid litmus experiment for educational policy generation and shaping the implementation of same, for overall development planning, for reconsideration of the constitutional relevance of the second tier of education. The inaugural lecturer graduated top with a bachelor's degree in adult education with specialization option in business education. His insatiable quest for knowledge and his master's and doctor of philosophy degrees in business and marketing education, all from the only University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Owing to this, our inaugural lecturer family circumstance, his initial drive for education, his science for self-help and self-sponsorship, convinced his parents, who are being issued, explains feeble faith, and attempted to rid themselves of the cost and stigma of failing to provide university education for their ward, but later became even more attracted and supportive to his pursuit of university education. In spite of these early obstacles, against his academic effort, Professor Chukwurah overcame all and sustained a successful academic career for which his inaugural today stands as a testament. The journey took him through St. Francis Primary School, Ugurugu, through Commercial College in Nsukka, extramural classes, to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, where he finally bagged all the above degrees and certificates. His swift movement to the academia, epochal and even life-changing, which further underscores a dictum in Isaac Watts' poem that says, "Little drop of water makes a mighty ocean." This made him previously a big engine in a small car, but the reverse is in the case today, as his story changed miraculously like that of the 10 lepers. Though he did not behave like them after healing, he remained eternally appreciative to all those who offered him assistance. He can therefore be aptly described as indeed a big engine in a big car. The inaugural lecturer began his academic career in the University of Calabar as an assistant lecturer in the Department of Curriculum and Teaching, Business Education Unit to be very precise. And this was in June 1994, 31 years ago. The Department of Vocational Education was created in 2010. Professor Chukwurah was then appointed as acting head of the department, a position he held till 2012. He grew steadily through the ranks, and in 2014, he was appointed full professor by the Governing Council of the University of Calabar. Vice-Chancellor Ma, it may interest you to note that our distinguished inaugural lecturer was the first PhD holder in business and marketing education in his community and even in his local government. The first and the only professor of business and marketing education in his community, even up till now. In his quest to publish his text on marketing education, he sought for and was granted sabbatical leave in 2013 at his alma mater, the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, to achieve this milestone. This is heartwarming and exemplary that he departed from the uninformed, unacademic, and ignorant thought that sabbatical leave is primarily for mercantile, pecuniary value, or to rid oneself of decent poverty. As he returned from sabbatical leave in 2014, he was elected the Deputy Dean of the then Faculty of Education, now College, and served under the deanship of Professor Florence Banku Obi, our amiable Vice-Chancellor, who is today seated here. He became the acting Dean of Education in 2015. When the Dean was elected Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, in 2016, he was elected the substantive Dean of the whole Faculty of Education in a keenly contested election, an election that was described as the most competitive in the history of the Faculty of Education in our dear university. Professor Chris Chukwurah was able to consolidate on some of the administrative initiatives of his predecessor, such as program affiliation in the affiliate colleges to the faculties and the establishment of a collegiate system, which, as you are aware, has been accomplished this year during the tenure of our initiator, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Florence Banku Obi. As part of the inaugural lecturer signature project as Dean, the introduction of faculty fabric that has remained today as a college fabric. The inaugural lecturer academic output for scholarship is well evidenced in his extensive scientific research publications to his credit in both local and international peer-reviewed journals that are very visible in several search engines. He has attended several conferences and presented academic papers. He has supervised over 25 master's theses and 10 PhD dissertations in the less subscribed field of study of marketing education. He has been attracted to sisters universities in Nigeria and, as I said, 11 professorial candidates to the rank of professor. I thought they could clap for that. Professor Chukwurah has served as external examiner at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, University of Benin City, University of Uyo in Akwa Ibom, University of River State University in Port Harcourt, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, and the Gold Coast University, Ghana. Apart from teaching and research, his departmental and faculty headship, the inaugural lecturer has equally served as an examination officer from 1997 to 2003, coordinator of business education program from 1997 to 2003, student staff advisor, National Union of Education Students in the University of Calabar from 2003 to 2010, Hall Warden, Hall 5 in our university, chairman of several committees in the faculties of education and department, chairman board of governors of the University of Calabar National Secondary School between 2015 to 2018, member committee of Unica Transport Committee from 2010 to 2014, the pioneer director, Directorate of Business Operations on Campus, Duboc. Our inaugural lecturer showed passion for any assignment given to him as the Director of Business Operations on Campus. He built for the first time at 32 lock-up shops during his tenure and went further to extend electricity to the Cameroon market that he did through the application of his rich marketing knowledge without any financial support from the university. Even this morning, he is sure that the environment of which we are gathered here is properly kept low, as you can see. Professor Chris Chukwurah, with the approval of the University of Management, was able to relocate some business in the main campus, College of Health Sciences, Library, Management Sciences, and Faculties of Education blocks. These relocations of this market were aimed at sanitizing the university environment. The inaugural lecturer has served as editor-in-chief, member of the editorial board, and was also one time the Deputy Vice-Chancellor nominee of this university in 2021. Apart from these landmarks, he has also participated in community service. He is a president of Ugurugu Graduate Forum from 2019 to date. President Inugu's People Assembly from Calabar in 2018 to 2025. Chairman Nsukka Family Union 2004 to 2010. Patron Nsukka Family Union in 2019 to date. Patron Igala Cultural Development Association from 2000 to date. Secretary Council of Indio Kenwa in Calabar from 2020 to date. Chairman Africana International Troop in Unical in 2016 to date. Member University of Calabar Band at the Cross Varsity Carnival in 2024. The 149th Inaugural Lecturer has received several awards, which include inter alia, Award of Excellence from the National Council of Indigo State Students, Meritorious Award from the Igwe Council of the Federated Igbo Students. Okamuta Jesus from St. Francis Catholic Church in Ugurugu. Award of Honor in Igala Student Association and Certificate of Gratitude from the Faculties of Education here in the University of Calabar. It belongs to many learned societies, which include Member Association of Business Educators in Nigeria, Member Association of Vocational and Technical Educators in Nigeria, Member the Nigerian Academy of Education, is a certified teacher registered with Teacher Registration Council of Nigeria. The inaugural lecturer is endowed with many parts of multiple skills and abilities. He is a polygon, speaks many Nigerian languages, including Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, English, and his mother tongue, the Igala language. He is a great zealous go-getter, result-oriented, undeterred by challenges and obstacles. No dull moment for him. A disciplinarian, a great social mixer, a charitable and very compassionate but detribalized being, loyal to authority, an honest man, a great dancer, a comedian, an innovator, and above all, a God-fearing and a peace-loving man. Professor Chris Chukwurah is happily married to Dr. Margaret Chukwurah, a very senior academic here with us, who has remained a pillar and source of his strength. The marriage is blessed with 4 lovely children and the godly ratio of 2-2 draw in terms of gender. As a soldier of Christ and that of the Universal Church, Professor Chukwurah has attained the esteemed rank of the 4th degree of the Noble Order of the Knight of St. Malumba. Influenced greatly by the courageous faith of the patron saint, Matthias Kalemba, now St. Malumba, he practically patterns the dynamics of his spiritual life to his proximity. This is reflective in his thought about spreading the gospel and deepening spirituality on the Catholic eschatology, being the latest of the lectures in the series he presented to the order, where he abhors unexplained and miraculous words while emphasizing transformative effect of the gospel that has led to qualitative changes in the macroeconomic variables of most civilizations of the world. In the political arena, our inaugural lecturer equates an ideologue, I mean a philosopher of his Zoro party, but underscores good governance as he renders services even as an umpire to various electioneering campaigns in Nigeria. One of such that he almost lost his life for being too truthful. Socially speaking, our inaugural lecturer is an institution of socialization, so profound that no one who has crossed his path in this direction speaks otherwise. From birthday celebrations to funerals, another social event, Professor Chukwurah attends all. Within the state and even beyond, distance is not in his lexicon when it comes to his interpersonal relationship with colleagues, the church, family, and friends. Indeed, he's born biological but has become very socially human, as espoused by Elizabeth Isache and Michael Harold Lambos. Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it is midnight in our country, Nigeria, where crime, violence, and corruption have taken center stage, and where even the country itself has become vulnerable to external aggression, where we even become quick to celebrate power and wealth, but certainly not academic feats. That notwithstanding, we will not celebrate vices anymore in this country, but excellence in distinguished career progression, as in the case of Professor Chukwurah today. Our inaugural lecturer moved from sapling to an academic iroko. His has remained a quiet but deeper success, for he focused on the transformation of minds, institutions, and future of Nigerians he has touched. His footprint remained etched in the halls of learning, and nothing eclipses his love for teaching, for his voice has remained an active in education advocacy. To prove that he found himself in education was not by mere accident of search for stream of earnings, but indeed a calling. Though the subject of my introduction is Professor Chris Chukwurah, however, by way of externalities, it is his parents who brought him up in the feet of the Lord that we are celebrating today. May God Almighty continue to rest their souls. There is an unscientific aphorism that when people achieve fame and heights, they tend to lose their friends. But Madam Vice-Chancellor, looking at the hall, the auditorium today, I am convinced, and I know you are convinced too, that Professor Chukwurah has not lost his friends. In spite of this achievement, in fact, he was instrumental for my return to this university after 7 years of academic adventure in Bauchi. May the good Lord continue to bless all of us, his friends. And so, amiable Vice-Chancellor, principal officers of our university, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my task is already accomplished, having sufficiently introduced the person I'm talking about, my colleague, my worthy brother, and friend. It is a privilege to call him so, except that I owe a tangential duty to further present him to this august assembly. Accordingly, therefore, I have the honor to present with pride the 149th Inaugural lecturer who came from far and has united in Calabar. I present the 149th Inaugural lecturer who came to build the University of Calabar alma mater, the young boy from Ugurugu who has been metamorphosed into a full-blown man in Calabar. I bring before you an erudite Akpabio professor of business and marketing education with no gap in professional knowledge. I will present to you a professor who has introduced hygiene into the university business environment, a soldier of Christ and that of the universal church. I put forward an exceptional social mixer, a 4th-degree knight of St. Maluma, the maximum possible. I present with tears of joy a professor who has given all that God gave him to academics. Join me now to welcome to the pulpit star Professor Christopher Chizo Chukwurah, the 149th Inaugural lecturer who is to Nigerian marketing education what Philip Kotler is to the United States.
Come now. Oh boy. Thank you very much, my good friend, brother. God bless you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. My citation reader has done very well. But unfortunately, he couldn't tell you about the 4 P's. So I think that is left for me. And I will urge you that I won't take your time, because 4 P's are simple things that you have been witnessing every day in our lives. The Chancellor and chairman of the day's academic ritual, teacher Professor Florence Banku Obi, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor's academic, administration, and research linkages and collaborations, other principal officers of the university, the Provost College of Postgraduate Studies, Provost College of Medical Sciences, Provost College of Education, University of Calabar, Chairman of Committee of Deans, Deans of Faculties, Dean of Student Affairs, Directors of Institutes and Directorates, distinguished professors and other members of the University Senate, members, other academics within other institutions, gentlemen of the press, distinguished invited guests, Malabites and Malabresses. I will not forget to recognize the Vice-Chancellor designate, Professor of John Evanga of John, the 12th Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calabar. This lecture is dedicated to the Almighty God, whose hands I rest. I also dedicate it to my late parents, Chief and Lord Chukwurah Yedegu, and to my late elder brother, Chief Boy Chukwurah, whose sacrificed comfort made me what I am today. May their souls rest in peace. Finally, to my lovely wife, Dr. Mrs. Margaret Uchenna Chukwurah, and our lovely children, Ojonugwa, Adwachugu, Ufedo, and Alumona, for always being with me throughout my struggles. My distinguished and golden Vice-Chancellor, Teacher Professor Florence Banku Obi, I am highly delighted and full of praise to Almighty God for ordaining this day and using you to ensure its fulfillment. I am grateful to you for making it possible for me to free myself by paying my academic indebtedness today, and to the university that provided a platform for my career growth. I was born into a polygamous family. The story you must have heard when my citation reader said it here. He told you everything, how I did not go to secondary school, but after my primary school, I went straight to the university, and I became what I am today. To God be the glory. My Vice-Chancellor, today's inaugural lecture is the second to be delivered in the Department of Business Education, Faculty of Vocational and Entrepreneurial Education, in a series of inaugural lectures. The first one was delivered by Professor G.C. Makuddin under the Department of Vocational Education. I am once again grateful to the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Florence Banku Obi, the great teacher, the entire members of the University of Calabar community, and the general public here present for the wonderful honor given me to deliver this lecture. I was made to know that inaugural lecture is the debt that every professor of the university must pay. It is important for me to seek the black goat before it is dark. I have decided to speak on institutionalizing the 4 Ps policy pathway for strengthening marketing practice in Nigeria. What is market? Market is just a place, anywhere, where a buyer and seller meet for the exchange of goods and services. And during this period, there is usually what we call money. It represents the meeting point of demand and supply. Traditionally, market is any place where sellers and buyers converge for the exchange of goods and services. And it means that once they meet, whatever bargain they reach at, there must be a compromise. And one of them is to pay and take whatever you have paid for. However, there are other modern marketing. For example, the online platforms like Jumia, Amazon, or stock markets. The devil is a liar. The main features of a market include the buyers, the sellers, products or services, medium of exchange, communication and interactions. This brought about negotiation or promotion between both sides. Yes, we have several types of market. We have consumer market, we have industrial market. Consumer market is the market where you go to buy whatever you want to consume immediately. Whereas industrial market is the market you go and buy what you want to use in further production of other goods, such as raw materials. We have also local market. This one is restricted to a small area or community. And national market, this usually involves trade across borders. We have physical market, where you face your customer face to face. You buy or you sell one-on-one. Whereas we have virtual or online market. Transaction here occur digitally. Example, e-commerce. Then we talk about marketing concepts. This is where we know that any marketer or producer or manufacturer must try as much as possible to identify the needs and the wants of his customers so as to be able to provide them satisfactorily at the right time and at a price affordable and willing to be paid for. The evolution of marketing thought is reflected in 4 main business orientations. But before then, let us know, what do you mean by 4 Ps? 4 Ps are the most important elements that hold marketing practice. Without them, there's no market. They are the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. Those of you who are surprised, who are coming here today to know what is 4 Ps, these are the most important aspects of marketing. Without product, you cannot talk of marketing. Without price, you cannot talk of market. Without place, you cannot talk of market. And above all, without promotion, there's no marketing. And both 4 Ps should interact with each other. They have to interplay. Just like I said, product, the price of every product depends on the quality. Depends on how good, how packaged that product is. And where can that product go? How possible is going to, that can it satisfy the consumers? And price is determined by this quality of products. And that's why most of the times we regard products or goods we buy based on their prices. But today in Nigeria, it's no more like that in our marketing practices. Because our traders have understood that once you give them a higher price, even if it's an inferior product, they believe that that is the most superior goods because of the price is high. Any article or any product that's price is cheap, they don't see it as anything. They don't regard it as a superior good. So today, product, price, place, and promotion have a lot to do in our marketing practices. We talk about production orientation. We talk about product orientation, sales orientation, marketing orientation. All these things are what a producer or a manufacturer has to have in mind in doing whatever he's doing, especially in production. We have marketing mix that is derived from the 4 Ps. And under this marketing mix, we have, like I said earlier, both price, place, and place we are talking about is when we talk about distribution. We'll come to that later. Now, how do you determine price? Pricing policy. This is determined by the quality of the goods. Depends on is determined by the distance where these products are to be sold or to be bought. Some of us now know that here in the city, Calabar, what you buy today here should not be the same thing if you go to Goja, for instance, to be cheaper. But before you transport yourself back to Calabar, you must have paid the equivalent price because of what? The factors affecting our distribution of goods and services. And that's when we talk about distribution channels. These distribution channels, when you look at our roads today, because we have other routes, could be by water, could be by air, but depending on the type of product you want to sell or buy. And distribution of goods facilitates the flows of goods from the producer to the consumer in the right time and place. And that is why we say that whatever we are producing today must go to the consumers before we think that our production is complete. Because unless the goods are in the hands of the consumers, production is not complete. No be true? Factors affecting the choice of distribution. We have product factor, we have institutional factors, and market factors, depending on what you want. Then the channel of distribution. The channels of distribution, it could be 0 level, first level, second level, or third level. The 0 level is the one producer sells straight to the consumer. Consumer can go straight to the producer. You don't need to go through the middlemen, like wholesalers and retailers. And depending on the product, it's not every product you can go straight to the producer to obtain what you want. Take, for instance, a consumer can go straight to Akala fryer. You buy whatever quantity of akara you want to buy. You don't need to go to a retailer or you go to a wholesaler before you go buy your akara. Also, another area where you can get zero level of distribution channel is industrial goods. Industrial goods are those goods you buy for the production of further goods. You can go straight to the producer. For instance, you can go to the timber dealers. You can go straight to palm wine tapper. Buy your palm wine there. You don't need to go through the retailer or the wholesaler. I know some of us who are from palm wine areas. I think my DVC academic can bear me witness. Then another level is producer through retailer, then to consumer. The retailer has to go and buy from the wholesalers and judge whatever he bought. There must be an additional price because they make this our prices, our cost of production or cost of whatever we buy to be to be higher than whatever the retailer buy because he has to add his own profit. Then second level is producer through wholesaler, through retailer to the consumer. And that's how it's continued to prices because everybody wants his own profit. Then let us look at promotion, which is the last of the 4 P's. Whatever product we have produced, before that, let me share one. Yes, that reminds me when the citation reader was describing the inaugural lecture, actually, he told you about his being very, very good at many languages. I'm a polyglot. So in case I chip any extraordinary language, please pardon me. And that is why I'm a good marketer. Because the best thing for any marketer is to understand many languages so that you can capture varieties of customers. Promotion. This is a set of activities designed to inform and persuade consumers about the products or services offered for sale by the marketer. We know in sales promotion, that's where we have market advertising, we have personal selling or salesmanship, publicity, public relations, or direct marketing. And all these things are under promotion. They have their challenges. We know today that our promotion exercise today in Nigeria is not something that you can, is nothing to write home about. Because of what? Because of want of maximization of profit. Everybody wants to get double of what he has. And as a result, it becomes a problem that we, the consumers, cannot agitate for our rights. Because one of the rights of a consumer is that you must make your choice of products you want to buy. And you have the rights of safety. Whatever you buy from the market, you have the right that you'll be safe. And you cannot just eat anything you like and tomorrow you go to the hospital. The one Igbo man called Okeli or Danwuru. So because of this, the 4 cardinal rights of a consumer must be observed. The right to choose, right to be heard, right to safety, and right to be heard. When anything happens to any product you buy from the market, you have the right to sue whoever sold it to you, or whoever is the producer. We have one story some time ago when somebody bought a Coca-Cola, and in the process of drinking it, he found a cockroach inside the bottle. What happened? Because of ignorance, He could not do anything. Because most of the times, we Nigerians, we don't have time for court cases. I don't like come tomorrow. Come next tomorrow. By then, your shop will be locked. Nobody is there to sell for you. Instead of that, you just thank God that you did not drink or eat this cockroach in your. You don't know whether the little you have taken can be harmful to you. So what we do is that you as a consumer, you have the right to sue the producer of Coca-Cola through the company or through the outlet where you bought it. But it takes a lot of processes. And because of that, for want of time, most of us don't even bother. You may be traveling to somewhere and you see a driver speeding. All you do is say, God, I beg you, please lead us safely. Why can't you take action? Caution the driver, and if he refuses to slow down, there are many checkpoints on the road. Just report him, and he'll take care of that. Instead of you praying, without knowing that it's not every prayer God answers. Yes, if not, you could have been having accidents on the road. Because everybody prays before it takes off for any journey. I remember, was it last year or 2 years ago, some of our students here, we are traveling to Uyo for that event in Uyo. Right from here at the gate, the driver took off, speeding, and they were shouting, "Cool down, calm down, driver." He didn't want to listen to them. So some of them are reaching EPZ junction. One of them said, "Driver, please, I want to use myself." He now carefully parked. About three of them dropped. They said they won't travel again. Others continued. Behold, before they reached Itu junction, there was an accident. Majority of them were rushed back to the university teaching office to her. Thank God no life was lost. So you have the right to caution the driver for your safety. Challenges for 4 P's of marketing. As we talk about 4 P's, they have obligations. They have obligations roles to play within the market arena. The 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion, form the foundation of the traditional marketing mix. They serve as tools through which organizations design strategies to satisfy consumer goods and achieve competitive advantage. What are the challenges of products? Because product is the senior brother of all the 4 P's. Because it's out of the 4 P's, we get, product. Because without product, you cannot talk of price, you cannot talk of distribution, you cannot talk of promotion. So one of the problems or challenges of the product is quality consistency. How do you maintain the quality of products you have to ensure that your customers do not leave you? It becomes a very big challenge, because most of the traders, they conserve their money, not to put enough money into production. And that's why some of the traders we have today, they travel to China, travel to other areas, and give their specification that this is what we want. And guess what? The most inferior specification they will give to them. The producers will tell them, "No, we can't produce this type of." They say, "No, that's what we want. That's the type of products we want in our country." And they will come back to them and say, "This is made in China." If not, China is one of the countries that has quality products. But we, not only in Nigeria, even some African countries, they go there and give their specification what they want. And behold, when they come here, buy it within 3 months, it goes off. And that reminds me of one woman whose child traveled and came back and told the mother that he has found a wife. The mother was happy and said, "Who is this woman you want to marry?" He said, "It's a Chinese from China." He said, "Please, you will not marry her." The boy said, "No, ma, if I won't marry any girl in Nigeria." So the woman kept quiet, and he went on and married this Chinese. Within a few months, she took in. And what happened? She gave to a child. Within 3 months, this child died. And the lady started crying. Other sympathizers, but the mother kept quiet, didn't say anything. So sympathizers will come to her and say, "Ma, why are you not crying? Your grandchild died." I told her not to marry a Chinese. You, haven't you been using Chinese products? Do they last? So that's the problem. So we have to try to maintain consistency, quality consistency. Then innovation pressure. We'll talk about market differentiation. How do we differentiate from one market to the other? How do we differentiate from one product to the other? Is the problem or challenges of the product. Then we'll talk about product life cycle. How do we manage the life cycle of our product? Because everything, every creature, being a human being or anything, we have life cycle. And what does that mean? A product undergoes development, from development to growth, from growth to maturity. After maturity, what next? The last stage, that's declination. Start declining. Even human beings go through the same process. A woman conceives, that is through development. Under development, during birth, gives birth to a baby, and the baby continues to grow. That's growth level until it gets to maturity. If you're a woman and you get to that level, and nobody's in naked, you have to be very careful. You know what is in naked? Yeah. That means you are trying to overgrow So the next thing now is you start declining. You start declining. But initially when you are growing, they will talk to you, your parents will talk to you, just look the other side. You go out in the morning, come back in the night. You don't know what you are doing until you get to maturity level and nobody comes to say, please, ma and pa, I've seen an apple in your house. If you are lucky, you will see them. But if you are not lucky, you will be there till you get to the declining stage. And by then, Igbo man will say, "Akunagebakwa no lanka." Thank you very much. Then another area that products have problem is sustainability and ethics. Sustainability and ethics. How do you sustain what you have? So that there will be no problem. Whatever you have, you are selling today, sustain it. And for you to do this, you have to go through what we call product marketing strategies, product development, balancing products, and so on and so forth. Then we talk about ethics. That's one most important aspect of marketing. Moral and behavioral tendency. Some of us don't bother. We don't care. Because we see marketers rushing. Something we're supposed to sell 2 naira, we increase it to 5 naira. Especially when we get to what we call schemed stage of our marketing. That's when a shop was newly opened. The price will be very, very low. But as consumers continue to come, they will increase the price. And by the time you know it, they will start withdrawing. No matter the self-service you give to them. Some of them will not even tell you, like Chinese. When you offend a Chinese customer, he will not tell you until when you find you don't see him again in your shop. That means he has gone. And as he goes, he will go and tell other friends, see that shop, don't go there. This is my experience there. So because of this, we need to have good moral behavior in our marketing practices. So that we don't sell inferior goods, adulterated goods. And this is why we are talking about institutionalizing the 4 Ps, so that all these things should be under guidance, under law and order, policies that will guide our marketing practices. Because if such policies is there, this ethics we are talking about should not be there. Adulterated goods should not be there. And one of the areas we need to talk about this institutionalizing is to ensure that we have collaboration with other agencies. Marketers producers should have what we call policy that will guide their behavior in market practices. Then what about price? Price also has challenges. Price sensitivity, inflation and cost fluctuations, competition and price wars, value versus affordability, and global variation, which is the most important, the worst challenges price suffers. Because what we talk about global variation, we are looking at international market and our local market, whose prices are not the same, even though our homemade may be better, but the prices in the international market, the global markets, will be higher than our own because we believe that their own is superior to our own, which is not true in some cases. And that's why today, our mentality today is that Nigerian-made goods are inferior goods. And that's why if you go to beach, tomorrow is Thursday, go to beach there, you see struggles, bend down. Thursday is the day of opening bales. That's why you see grade 1. Thank God, some of you know it. Each time I go for road safety work, I see some of you crossing the... I beg you, yoke at the yoke. Yes, we talk about distribution challenges. A lot of challenges. Few months ago, we witnessed one boat that capsized between Niger and Kogi State, precisely in Onugwa community. 200 marketers feared death. Because they were rushing to the market. And that is the only boat, but the boats were more than the boat can carry. And they cannot go 2 times to carry all of them. And at the middle of the sea, the mishap happened. That is one of the problems in our distribution channels. Is the road the best? No. Get up today that you are going to get here. It will take you 3 hours. Let alone one of my brothers who traveled from Lagos for this inaugural lecture started journey 2 days ago in Iketa. And he arrived yesterday 10 p.m. Because of what? Bad road. All these things are detrimental to our distribution channels. And who suffers it? You and I. Because the sellers will add whatever suffering they have encountered into the prices. Travel today with a handbag, they will charge you as load in Akpabio office. Yeah, that is their own office. If you don't like, go. If you go, where are you going? Same thing if you go to another park, they will tell you the same thing. So we have a problem. And the only problem, the only solution to it is to institutionalize peace. Yes, when I described, this is the boat I was describing. See how big it is. And all of them went down into this. Promotion challenges. We have what we call media clutter, high cost of advertising, low consumer trust. Consumer doesn't trust the seller. The seller does not trust the consumer. What do we do? Limited reach in rural areas. Go to rural areas today. Things are there. Some of them, they don't even see anybody to buy it. Especially fruits. Here, one pawpaw now is 1,500. But when I traveled to Boki, they were begging us to buy pawpaw 400 naira. You see, why is it so? Because of the distance and the bad road. So, cultural, told you earlier that the best marketer or business operator should be somebody who can speak more than one language. As you see me so, I thank my God that I was trained in business and marketing. Anytime I retire now, I'll go into my business. And I'll use language to secure every customer I see. Yes. If you doubt, just speak any language for me now, I'll respond, but not now. Not now. Nigerian marketing system, this evolved significantly over the decades, though shaped by historical, cultural, economic, and political factors. You know, historically, marketing starts with what we call barter system, where we exchange goods for goods. But with new trends, we have gotten to this stage now where you can only exchange good for good through the exchange means of exchange, that is money. So it holds some elements of traditional exchange practices and is also influenced by globalization, technological advancement, and contemporary marketing theories. And that is why now we're in the modern marketing practices. And very soon, these our marketplaces may not take place again. You can stay in your house, and which is happening now. You don't need to go to the market. And nobody comes to your house to sell for you. Just go online and find whatever you want to find. Even marriage today, we are marrying online. Not be so. Repositioning practice in Nigeria. You know, because of all these problems, our 4 Ps encounter, from time to time, we need to reposition our market. And this is deliberate effort we make to change the perspective of a brand, product, or services. You know, from time to time, you see some people start having change of mind. The way they are looking at things, the product they see yesterday is no longer the same today. They start becoming skeptical about products. So what you do now as a marketer is to reposition the market. Find a way of innovation. Change the brand, but it may be the same content. Like yesterday, we were somewhere, they served Coca-Cola. One of the bottles were very big, and the person couldn't know what. He said, "What is this?" I said, "It's Orobo." They call it. He said, "No, Coca-Cola is not like this." So the seller came to him and told him that this is what they call okay Coke. Have you ever seen okay Coke? No, you never chichonchi. So this is repositioning market. It is the same content, but because it has been changed, it will now take a different price, even better than what it was, or higher price than what it was. Repositioning faces several barriers: economic stability and inflation, consumer purchasing, making premium repositioning strategies. In short, man, devil cannot get me today. Yes, we want to look at institutionalizing the 4 Ps. And one of them is policy integration. Now, how do we do this? By trying to integrate this policy into our development plan, national development plan. Whatever number of years is going to stay, let it be there. Integrate it into that. Also, we talk about strengthening institutions. The already established institutions should be strengthened. Give them the power, empower them, fund them, so that they can work very well. Remember, there was a time in our markets during a very high inflationary period, there was what we call price control. During military regime, they enter the market and make sure that whatever product you are selling, whatever services you are rendering must be according to the control price. And if they get you going beyond that, they will just seize all the goods and auction it out to consumers. Some of us witnessed it. Did you witness what I'm saying? Price control. So the best thing now is to strengthen this institution, give them the power, so that our 4Ps should not suffer again in the hands of producers or marketers. Then we'll talk about education and professionalization. This will be done through research. Our academics, this is when we talk about your own presence in making the 4Ps a reality. Research into 4Ps. What is the problem? What are they suffering from? And what will be the solutions? And that's why, no matter what you want to be in your business practices, at least obtain little education. It will help you. Most failed businesses today are those who didn't bother to go to school. I used to tell my students, whatever business you want to do, finish your first degree, at least first degree. It will expose you more. Most of you now, you are graduates. You are asked to write what we call feasibility studies now. You know what to do. And most of them, because of this trend we have today, is it Gen Z they call them? Tell them, come to school, they say no. After all, when Buhari was there, one child was being asked, when it was time for school in the morning, the mother was asking him, go to school and come up. He said, you not go to school. Mama said, why now? He said, did Buhari go to school? He's not the head of students today. A small boy. Then we'll talk about digital transformation, public-private partnerships. Collaboration is very, very important. And that is why we have research, linkages, and collaboration. And by next week, we'll hear more about this. We also think about market segmentation as a strategic way forward to help these 4Ps. It is important to note that market segmentation is also a strategic way forward for tackling the challenges of 4Ps. It is the process of dividing a market into heterogeneous market into smaller, more heterogeneous groups of consumers with similar characteristics. You know, when you go to market today, no matter how big it is, every product or goods or service are not sold in the same place. They are being positioned based on the consumer characteristics. And once you enter the market, for instance, you want to buy shoe. Even if you are a visitor to that market, ask somebody there, they will direct you to where shoe is sold. If it is garri you want to buy, it is there. And it's such a way that market segmentation makes room for everybody. Be you a woman, be you a man, be you a child, be you an adult, market serves you what you want. And that is the true standard marketing system. But the problem we have today, just like what I've been facing for the past 5 years now, we try to segment our market in Unica so that even if you are a visitor, you come, you know where academics takes place. You know where business practice takes place. But we don't want it. Why? Because we think that wherever we are, where we have students, that's where you sell. No. For those of you who have not been to Cameroon, go there today. It's now turned into a very big market. But some people are still afraid, thinking that if they go there, the customers will not be there. But today, Cameroon is having more customers than what they have there. And another thing is that if you are staying there, until these people finish selling their own, you cannot sell your own. And you are also forgetting that Once your products are good, wherever you are, your customers will be there to look for you. There's one woman in Hall 2. Some people come from Faculty of Law. Even the Dean of Law comes there. Yes. From Faculty of Law to Hall 2, because that is where he gets satisfaction from whatever he is there. Igbo man say, I am man in wrong way. Good product sells itself. If you carry anything inferior, bring it to my doorstep, I'll jump you and go to another place to buy the one that will satisfy me. So that is the task that we must achieve. And we have achieved that. In Calabar today, our market has been segmented. Go to Hall 2, go to Malabo, go to Cameroon. Those ones that are still hovering here, don't worry. We'll tackle it before the end of the initiator. Yes, thank you very much. By applying segmentation, firms can identify and target profitable markets. Conserve scarce resources and design offerings that resonate highly with specific consumer categories, such as demographic segmentation. This is according to the age of the consumers. Geographic segmentation. This one is based on location. Psychographic segmentation. You know, in some markets, they look at people, their prestige, their status, to fix whatever price they want to fix. Because some of us would like to have that psychological ego. That we buy our goods from so shop. And because of that, they look at us as, and it is not true. That thing you bought from Spa, come to a tag, but you get the same thing and a cheaper price. Yes, I told you about Bendang in the beach. They will go there and buy those things, come home, dry clean it neatly, take it to boutique. And you go there without knowing, go and buy made in America. Then we have behavioral segmentation. This one is based on the behavior of the consumers. Yes. Let us see segmented market. Yes, see the market. There are many of them there. They tell us how market has been segmented. Then, how does segmentation address challenges of 4 Ps? Institutional regulatory frameworks, data infrastructure and analytic policies, consumer protection and privacy legislation, inclusive market development policies, education and capacity building, then digital transformation policies. If all these policies could be established and maintained, in fact, that's a very pathway for strengthening market segmentation. Then implication of market segmentation. When we talk about implication for business practice, what do we do to sustain these 4 Ps? Our product, the price, the place, and promotion. Then what about market segmentation for government and policy, public policy? What does government do to ensure that our 4 Ps are surviving in their practice, their marketing practices? Then we talk about implication of academic and higher education. I've told you that we need research. Even in every market organizations, there's a section we have research unit. This research unit, the role is to ensure that they have to research into the needs and wants of the consumers, and they give report to the production unit to ensure that they produce what the consumers want and what they need. Without that, if you go on and produce whatever you feel you can produce, believe it or not, you are wasting your time. You will be the type of people who take their product to the market. They will finish halfway and take the rest to the house. And the children will now devour especially the restaurants. Each time their mama go to market to sell, they'll be praying so that there will be leftover. So that the first stack of that day will be very, very groovy. But I know that their mama is suffering. Conclusion. My Vice-Chancellor, man, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Malabais and Malabreses, I want to say, I want to conclude. Greater fundamental Thank you. This lecture explores the difficulties of product and quality services delivery and culture misalignment, as well as stresses of pricing in an inflation-ridden economy. It also highlighted the frustrations in the distribution of goods and services across broken infrastructures, and finally, to the barriers of promoting products and services in a linguistically, digitally divided nation. These challenges are not artificial, but real, constant, persistent, disturbing, and sometimes overwhelming. Yet the story of Nigerian marketing system does not have to be seen as one of struggle alone. It should be a story of innovation, resilience, persistence, and strategic transformation. And the key that unlocks this transformation is what? Institutionalization of the 4 Ps and market segmentation. Because if institutionalization and market segmentation can work together, in fact, these 4 Ps will have no problem. And you and I, as consumers, will be enjoying the economy of this country. It has been made clear to us that Nigeria is not a single market, hence the need for institutionalization and segmentation. We are a nation of many market youths and elders, urban and rural, the affluent and struggling, the digital and analog, Ajebos and Pacos, and even the digitally excluded. When we recognize this diversity, not as a burden, but as a rich opportunity, we will begin to see solutions where we initially saw only barriers. So we'll be no more talking about problems again. Through institutionalization and segmentation, products and services become more relevant, crafted to speak to local tastes and everyday realities. Through institutionalization and segmentation, pricing becomes more inclusive as it is designed to give respect and recognition to how income earners while still satisfying premium consumers. Through institutionalization and segmentation, distribution becomes more strategic, providing a means of reaching both the Buzi, Alaba, and Tinkan Islands in Lagos professionals, and the farmers in Boki and Income local government areas, as well as the producers of rice in Ogrugu, in Uzwan local government area. Through institutionalization and segmentation, promotion as a marketing mix becomes more effective, disseminating marketing, information in the languages the people understand, and through the media they trust. Because if all that 3 Ps are okay, the promotion might be a problem. Because depending on the way you handle the advertising of a product. Because in some of the advertisements, you see a product being advertised. Take, for instance, a can of Coca-Cola or malt. Somebody will take 1 can and it gets up. Somebody who could not walk before, after taking a bottle of Coca-Cola, he starts jumping and running. And maybe if you have the same type of sickness, you say, okay, my child, go and buy me Coca-Cola. If you like, take 1 carton, 1 crate of Coca-Cola. You are still where you are. But advertisement has done what they want to do and collected their money. So that's what we call misleading advertising. They are misleading us. Through institutionalization and segmentation, promotion as a marketing mix, institutionalizing the 4 Ps is not merely a theoretical aspiration. It is a strategic imperative for national development. Nigeria's marketing system must move from fragmented practice to institutionally guided and policy-supported marketing. By embedding the 4 Ps into country's development agenda, Nigeria can create an enabling environment for innovation, consumer protection, and sustainable business growth. Our consumers need to be protected. And government is not even resting. They are doing something. We have what we call Consumer Protection Acts. But are they working today? Are they being implemented? One of them is the Descriptive Act of 1968, where it is said that whatever products you are buying, especially those ones that are in the container, packaged, whatever is in the package must be written on the body. Take, for instance, Bonvita. If you buy a tin of Bonvita and Bonvita is written on it, when you open it, it must be Bonvita. If not, you have violated this act. So, what we have to do now is that make sure that consumers are protected. And that's why, in those years, after all the problems consumers were going through, they got up and they rose up and established what we call consumerism, an association of consumers. They started fighting the producers, the marketers, stopping them from bringing to the market adulterated goods. The success of marketing in Nigeria will depend not only on entrepreneurs and marketers, but also on the strength of institutions and clarity of policy direction guiding their operations. VC, Nigerian marketplace is not broken or destroyed. It is simply complex. And the complexity requires strategy. Institutionalization of the 4 Ps and market segmentation are the strategies. Market segmentation, for instance, is the bridge between theory of the 4 Ps and the reality of Nigerian consumers. So, as we are leaving this hall, ladies and gentlemen, I urge and plead with Nigerian business owners, entrepreneurs, and stakeholders to stop marketing to everyone and start connecting with someone. I believe you understand what this statement means. Stop selling to everyone. Instead, start connecting with someone. Because if everybody is talking, nobody is talking. But when someone is talking, somebody is talking. So if you are marketing to everybody, that is no marketing. Instead, try and connect someone. I strongly challenge our policymakers to see the diversity of our people, not as a problem, but as a guide to a smarter and more inclusive development. And I call on academics and researchers, including my provost of College of Education, to rise to the task of indigenizing marketing thought to enable Nigeria as a country become a reference point, not just a case study. The future of Nigeria's marketing is not in fighting challenges with obsolete tools, but in embracing institutionalization and marketing segmentation as sure means for sustainable, dynamic, inclusive, and profitable growth. If we can do this, we will sell not only products and services, but also build trust, create value, and transform our country, Nigeria. Thank you. And may the Nigerian marketing system continue to rise to its expected potential. In Jesus' name we pray. Contributions. I've made a lot of contributions in the area of marketing. Few of them include the influence of information and communication technology on consumer purchasing behavior in Calabar urban. Globalization, entrepreneurship, and teacher education in Nigeria. Challenging roles of vocational educators. utilization of indigenous communication strategies in promoting marketing practice in rural communities in Nigeria. Consumer education as obligation for business education, and so on and so forth. You can go through the books. Most of these things are there in your book, and if you don't get the book, rush now before it gets exhausted. I'm a marketer. Acknowledgement. With my heart full of happiness, I wish to thank God Almighty. It is in Him I trust. He brought me this far in life. I cannot forget all He has done for me and my family. Thank you. I will forever worship and serve Him. My gratitude goes to the 11th and first female Golden Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calabar, teacher, Professor Florence Banku Obi, Eka Uchichi, one of Vice-Chancellor. Eka Unyinyi, sorry. Ma, you made me proud. I'm more popular in the University of Calabar and Cross River State in general. To the extent that many people thought I'm a Cross-Varian, but I can tell you, I'm more Cross-Varian than some of us. I've done a lot of things in Cross River. If I can give my first daughter to a Cross-Varian, haven't I done much? Thank you very much. Thank you for granting me the opportunity to present this inaugural lecture today. I owe a special gratitude to my late parents, Chief and Lord of Chukwurah, who sacrificed their valuable time, resources, and strength to nurture me. They saw me through my university education, but did not live to enjoy me. I also thank my late elder brother, Chief Boy Chukwurah, who locally mentored me and made sure that I became somebody in life. He was a good disciplinarian. Little did I know that he meant good for me when he punished me each time I went wrong. My brother, may your soul rest in peace. I owe my many thanks to principal officers of the University of Calabar, including the registrar, the bursar, and the chairman committee of deans for great roles played. My appreciation also goes to the Ata Osa of Abali clan, our father on throne, Chief Enuka Yeregu, for his contribution to my educational success. I owe unquantifiable gratitude to my dear wife, my Greek yogurt, Lady Dr. Margaret Uchenna Chukwurah, Odibeze, my ebony chocolate, my prayer warrior, who stood and continued to stand by me every moment. She made me not to feel the absence of my late mother. I see her always as my sister, friend, and peer. In short, my everything. She is the angel God has sent to remove me from where I was to where I am today. Baby, remain blessed for me. My lovely children, Barrister Mrs. Sandra Ezoke, former SCG Vice President, University of Calabar, and her husband, Barrister Voda Ezoke. You are welcome. Can you stand and wave? My son-in-law, Barrister Voda Ezoke. My son, Barrister Henry Chris Chukwurah, Miss Doris Chris Chukwurah, currently on National Youth Service in Abuja, Mr. Xavier Chris Chukwurah, a 400-level student, Medical Lab, University of Calabar, my cousin, Timothy Ayo Chukwurah, a 300-level civil engineering student in Unica. Then my in-law, Destiny Anthony Chinagoro. Can you stand, all of you, and wave? I also recognize my grandchildren, Masters Enyo and Ojile Ezoke. All these are the faces behind the mask throughout the journey. I thank you all for your prayers and support. I wish to thank my relations who have been very supportive during my academic pursuit. Late Chief Emmanuel Chukwurah, Amana of Igala in Obajana, Kogi State. Mr. Godwin Chukwurah, Mr. Donatus Chukwurah, Chief Tony Chukwurah, and late Mrs. Bright Moses. Also to Dr. Daniel Adem, Engineer Baba Joshua Mohammed, Sir and late Anthony Ojadi, Mr. Israel David, Adejo David, among others, too numerous to mention here. My profound gratitude goes to my first and best friend in Calabar, through whom I gained employment in the University of Calabar, Okenwa Professor Marcellus Ojua, the owner of Akokwa, Ojimuta one of Oboduku. I call him OJ himself. Besides, Professor Emi Ojua sheltered me in his house for 3 years before I brought my family to Calabar. Professor Ojua made my journey to this podium today possible. My regards to him. Onwa, wherever you are, raise your hand. I will not forget to recall posthumously the role played by late Professor Emeka Okweze in my life in Calabar. He was my mentor, friend, and brother. May his soul rest in peace. I appreciate all my colleagues in business education family, from where I turned a professional academic. I am grateful to our academic father, Professor G.C. Dramaku, deemed retired. He mentored and guided me throughout my working with him. Others to acknowledge include Dr. Mrs. Eunice Ajuchukwu, my head of department. Ma Ajuchukwu, are you around? You are welcome. Dr. Mrs. Agnes Okute, immediate past HOD. Dr. Edet Okon, immediate past sub-dean. Dr. Steve Ondien, the only teacher. My mentees in business education, Dr. Cletus Atta, Dr. Ms. Mercy Akeke, Dr. Ms. Patient Rushe, Dr. Agnes Ewuru, Dr. Fabian Odida, Dr. Michael Gucci, Dr. Bison Beson, Dr. Nekelton, Mr. Isaac Kolo, Mrs. Maria Ingwe, Mr. Tangod Igwe, and others, too many to mention. They were all behind me during my journey. I also want to appreciate my other colleagues whom always answered each time I needed them. They are Professor C.B. Ben, Clement Ajibola, Lucas Ogunjimi, SBC Hanacho, Akon Isu, and Naukpon 001. Chief Professor Obinna Enukoha, my former dean, Professor Cecilia Kweme, and also my former dean, Professor Arikpo B. Arikpo. My others are Professor and Professor Mrs. Tony Meribe, my current family friend in Calabar. Associate Professors Dave Alawa, Okeme Isaac Ajigo Ikuta, Dr. Mrs. Maria Onabe, HOD Agric Education, Dr. Victor Banya, late Dr. Mrs. Rose Udonwa, Professor Mrs. Mary Iyam, Dr. Mrs. Ann DJ, Mrs. Aniekan Brown, Mrs. Angela Olive, and others too. I will not come again forever. This is the last. I owe my thanks to Professors Patrick Arikpo and Yuyu Usan, who introduced me into journal publication. I also thank Professor Lulu Watt. She contributed to my growth in academic life. I cannot forget to thank my think tank members, Professors Chris Nwamo, Tony Enyan, Davis Academic, Chairman and Board, Provost College of Education, Unica, Professor Mugu Ajay, Dr. Alex Timothy, and Barrister Dr. Maxwell Eba. They are my backbones. I appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me specially to recognize some out of the numerous friends I had before and during the course of my academic journey. They impacted my life in many ways. I appreciate the company and kindness of Mr. John Omeje, Registrar, Maduka University in Enugu, Barrister Bart Eza, retired, and so on and so forth. Also, I recognize Mr. John Shaibu Arua, Mr. Joseph Ohemi, Deputy Director of Tax
FIRS, Calabar. And Mr. and Mrs. George Ekoro of Unica Microfinance Bank, Unica. Also to appreciate our Honorable Justice Elojo Energy, Court of Appeal, Cross River State. Honorable Justice Maurice Energy, who are always giving me legal covering fire. I cannot forget Professor Patrick Ibuli, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Tibi of University of Delta. To maximally appreciate is my worthy brother and sister, His Eminence Edidan Ekpokon Abasutu the Fifth Obon of Calabar, for his role in my life and my family. I deeply appreciate all my past lecturers and colleagues at University of Calabar and Suka, as well as my colleagues at University of Uyo, University of Benin, at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi. I cannot forget the favors I enjoyed from them during both my sabbatical leaves and external examinations in these institutions. My special thanks go to Professors Ngozo Sereren of UNILAG, Lagos, and Obi Okonkwo of UNIZIK, for encouraging me each time they visited Calabar. I appreciate my friend, Rear Admiral Essien, Director and Chief Executive Officer, Umnik Hotel, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, and Professor Efshon Asukwo, HOD Business Education, University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom, for keeping me company each time I visit Uyo. I am indebted to my parish priest, His Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Joseph Ekowe, his assistant, and the entire parishioners of St. Paul Parish, University of Calabar, for their concern and prayers towards the success of this lecture. I appreciate the Ezigbo, Cross River State, Chief Emmanuel Ezenwenyi, Dim Mmanyu Jularu, Ana Imenyoku Onenwenwu, Chief Livinis Iheze, Akakonamego Onowu, Nzanozo, the Okenwa, members of Igbo community, the president and members of Ikenga, University of Calabar. I appreciate the chairman and the members of Igala Cultural Development Association, where I'm the patron, Cross River State. I am grateful to the President General Ohaneze Ndigbo, Cross River State, Okenwa Chukwemeka Egwonwu, Ochibara Dike Nohia, 2 of our, and his team for their support. My gratitude goes to the chairman and members of the Suka Family Union for their support and their women wing, my neighbors in State Housing Estate Calabar, Professors Tabot, Idaka, Nkanu, Yoza, Dr. Emelda Edamagbo, Chief Gershom Davis, Mr. Clement Bassi, and Dr. Paul are appreciated for supporting me in the course of this lecture. I am also grateful to the management of Godswill Akpabio International Conference Center, UNICA, for putting things in place ready for this lecture. I appreciate my gallant Dobok Task Force members for being there for me during the preparation for this lecture. To all my students in University of Calabar and other places, I owe my thanks for the challenges they made me. They made me a good teacher. I will not forget to appreciate the Managing Director, Unica Press, Mr. Sunday Matthias. I used to call him Leave Matter for Matthias. And also Mrs. Elizabeth John Ojogo, whom also pleaded for quality production of this lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, let me extend my special thanks to the chairman and members of the planning committee for their sleepless nights to make this lecture a success. To all who travel from far and near to honor me this day, I owe my gratitude. Finally, to the entire members of the university committee and the Malabites and Malabreses, I owe my appreciation. Thank you for making this inaugural lecture a reality. I cannot thank you enough. May God bless you. Thanks for listening. Yes, I'm very, very grateful to the Vice-Chancellor, because this thing, inaugural lecture presented today, told me what one man, my uncle, did in our village. He's a member of their age grade. And this age grade, they have a policy that if you have not taken any title, you cannot talk during their meeting. So I thought it wise that it's better for me to come and present the lecture, because there will be a time it may be a problem to talk at the Senate meeting if you have not presented their lecture. So that's why I. So when this man was to be made not to talk in their age grade. That was exactly the year he took his own title. So immediately this thing was announced, the man jumped up and started dancing. Ojo Bamiyo. Ojo Bamiyo. Ojo Bamiyo. Do you know what he's saying? That God has saved him. Thank you, and thank you.
Well done, Prof.
Give me 5.
The professor with a big P.
No,
Please, let's celebrate him again.
Yes.
May we be seated. Without waste of time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to once again call on the chairman of this occasion, our golden Vice-Chancellor, Professor Florence Banku Obi, to step forward for presentation of the lecture note by the inaugural lecturer and also appreciation of the lecturer by exchange of memento.
Where is the note? Do what? Okay, come on. This one is still talking. My Vice-Chancellor, man, I'm very, very grateful today that you have made it possible for me to escape the debt of this university. I can say that it's the university that is owing me today. I'm no longer owing you. So, on behalf of my family, I hereby present this inaugural note to you and for the University of Calabar.
They just delivered inaugural lecture. Professor Chris Chukwurah. Congratulations.
You forgot the other one, DVC.
On behalf DVC Duvok.
Yes.
DVC Dubok, yes. On behalf of management, the University Senate, it is my singular honor to present to you this memento in recognition of your being the 149th inaugural lecturer of the University of Calabar today, the 12th day of November 2025. Congratulations.
The eagle has landed. Let me at this moment invite the brand new tier rubber chairman of Committee of Deans, Professor Enang Uda, to give a vote of thanks. Let's celebrate him as he comes up.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a beautiful one, Professor Chukwurah. You can see the difference between a teacher and the rest of us. He's able to make the lecture not to be boring by cracking jokes from time to time. Thank you very much for that fine delivery. The 4 P's: product, price, place, promotion. I've added another P there. So it's 5 P's, according to our Vice-Chancellor. Your professorship is now being promoted to the capital P. The Vice-Chancellor, ma'am, thank you very much for providing this opportunity. The motivation you have provided is what we are seeing. Like you said, a beautiful product plays out. And it also shows the input that was put in place to produce that product. And you have been part of the greater input in making this inaugural lecture something that we celebrate. This academic feast, something that we celebrate. So we thank you so much for keeping to your words that you encourage inaugural lecture. And indeed, we have seen bountiful of them. I also want to thank the entire management team, the Deputy Vice-Chancellors, academic, research and linkages, the librarian, the registrar. I want to thank the provost of colleges, the provost of postgraduate college, College of Medical School, and College of Education. I want to thank the deans who are here, especially the dean of the inaugural lecturer, the dean of vocational and entrepreneurial education. Thank you for giving him the opportunity, and also his head of department. We want to thank the former inaugural lecturers who are here. We want to thank Professor Ikpoke for always being here. Retired but never tired. Thank you very much. I've seen council members who are present here, my employers. Thank you very much for finding time to come. I also want to thank Federal Road Safety, the people without gun, but all of us will stop when we see you. Thank you for coming in their beautiful clothes. Thank you very much. I want to especially thank the family, the wife. He has already described you, so my words will not make any meaning. Let's just use his own words. And when Professor Chukwurah was describing you, I noticed your daughter was laughing so much. And I'm sure the person seated by her side will replicate that. Thank you very much for the entire family for coming. I also want to thank those with different uniforms. I may not be able to identify you, but I've recognized, and thank you for coming. You are very colorful and beautiful. Thank you, the Development Division, for putting this together. You are really appreciated. Thank you, all those who have come. Thank you, Malabite and Malabresis. And lastly, I thank myself for coming. Thank you very much. Yes, the information unit. Thank you.
As we come to the end of this exercise, permit me once again to call the Vice-Chancellor and Chairman of this occasion, Professor Florence Banku Obi, to make her closing remark.
Thank you, the registrar. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the 149th Inaugural Lecturer, congratulations once more. Congratulations and congratulations. Today, you have demonstrated to us, you have educated us, you have taken us through the process, all that you did that made you a professor. You said the university is now owing you. You are no more owing the university. It's good for the university to owe you. That is why it is your university. It's very bad for you to owe the university just this singular thing. It's a shame if you retire from the university and you don't deliver the inaugural lecture. Today, Professor Chris Chukwurah, you've done well. I said earlier that we are talking about strengthening market practices in Nigeria. That maybe at the end of his lecture, some of us will know how best to be market men and women. One thing I've known now is that if you want to be selling gari and water yam and water leaf in the market, learn many languages. And be like Professor Chris Chukwurah. I'm wondering when you start this, your business and marketing. Is it after retirement? I thought you should have started now from Cameroon. The Cameroon that you have. For security purposes, you will not start here until after Cameroon. However, we are happy that we are done with 149th inaugural lecture. Come the 17th of same month, Monday 17th. Did I make any mistake? I said Monday 17th, not Wednesday. Remember, we have told you that the time will come when we'll not just keep to the one inaugural lecture a week, but 2. Next week, we'll be having 2 inaugural lectures. One will be on Monday. And that one is from a man who has worked very hard to strengthen our research in the University of Calabar the past 3 years. In fact, at DVC, research linkages and collaboration, and 2 years as director of linkages. Professor Peter Okafor. Come Monday, he will be presenting his inaugural lecture. Let's not be tired. Let's not be weary. I'm sure you enjoyed this one today. The other one, Monday, we'll go to talk about corrosion and corrosive things. So let's be here to hear about that. After that, that same week, we'll have another one on Thursday. And we'll be richer for it. But let me use this opportunity to appreciate you all for taking up the challenge. The chairman committee of Dean has appreciated me for the motivation. But I want to appreciate you more for taking up the challenge. I recall some time ago we'll sit in Senate and we'll be begging, please, who will present? You present, say, no, I'm not ready. You, they said, no, I'm not ready. People were shy away from presenting inaugural lecture. Today, we are falling over ourselves. In fact, it has been booked up to maybe September next year. And some people are private chatting me to make it possible for them to present in March or present in February. There's no space. It's booked all through. So if you are sitting down there and waiting for someone to come and tell you, wake up, you just keep dreaming. People have left you behind. Every professor wants to be a professor with capital P. And the professors are doing well. We have professors with capacity who are really, really showcasing the quality, the caliber of professors there are in UNICA. And we are really, really very proud of it. So our guests, thank you for coming. You've been appreciated. But let me also join my voice to say thank you. I see the Knights of St. Molumba here. Thank you for coming out in your numbers to support one of your own. Appreciate everybody who has turned out. And I looked at Margaret. She was just all smiles. She was just all smiles. And this is what she's been enjoying for so many years. Because with Chris Chukwurah, no dull moment will keep you laughing and laughing and laughing. Just the way he has done today. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please remember, Monday, the 17th, is another feast with us. Please come and let Professor Peter Okafor take us through the corrosive things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we put our hands together for the Vice-Chancellor? Just like she said, we will gather here next week, Monday, same time, same venue. And this time around, we'll have a professor of physical and materials chemistry, Department of Pure and Industrial Chemistry. Like the Vice-Chancellor just introduced him, he is Professor Peter Chukwurah Okafor, our Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research Linkages and Collaborations. So please endeavor to make that day a success. Thank you so much. At this point, we have gradually come to the end of the 149th Inaugural Lecture. Then please, I'll request that members of the high table still please go down for a group photograph. The group photograph is going to be in two segments. First, members of the high table. Second, with the wife and the children. Please do not leave the hall. We are not done yet till after recession. Thank you so much. Immediately after that, we'll take the University of Calabar song. Can we please rise as we take the University of Calabar song? Please, no movement. Thank you so much. Please, let's be where we are. No movement.
Neath the broad expanse of Nigeria's sky stands a school with a vision bright, ever holding the banner of knowledge. I will go forward by wisdom's might. All hail to the alma mater. We have come from near and far to unite in Calabar. We'll work to build our alma mater.
6, University of Calabar.
Recession. Members of the high table will take the lead, and all professors that are roped will follow suit. Please clear the aisle and leave the entrance. Thank you.